SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 345. I'm your host, looking for the answer, Spencer Presley. I don't know why I waited, I wasn't sure what my own name was. I promise I do know who I am.
It's because you're waiting for the answer
to
what your name is.
Damn it. I was going to say, and joining me is the ever-popular PlayStation 2 hit RPG, Mac the Fez.
Yes.
Stands for Festival.
No, it stands for FES.
Yeah, go Fez yourself.
I called it FES for the longest time, and then it's Fez.
Yeah, I thought everyone knew it was Fez.
Yes, it's just I was dumb, and I thought about it once, and then I never thought about it deeper until a bunch of people started saying it as Fez, and then I started to question myself.
Mac, I hate myself. I just realized I have to make a fucking Photoshop of this, because no one's done this. No one's made the art of Persona, the cover art for Persona 3 Fez with Fez from that 70s show, and now I can't not let that exist in the world.
Oh, that's a good point. I thought you were gonna say no one's recreated the FES. See, I almost did it. No one's recreated the Fez cover art with the Reload stuff, but I did do that.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to forget that. Mac is very proud of his achievements.
I'm very proud of it.
We printed that out on the fridge. That's up there for you, buddy.
Right next to the My Apologies thing that's on the fridge. That's actually on my fridge.
For all of your war crimes you've done.
Yes, my apologies. I got in a car wreck, and it was my apologies.
Oh, my God. So, besides getting in horrific car accidents, thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is the internet's #1 most long-running podcast for all things SMT, Persona, Atlus, Metaphor, Catherine, Soul Hackers, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and whatever the hell we want to talk about. But yeah, we're here. We're T-minus less than 48 hours before the answer, so I figure let's drag Mac on. Let's make some heinous predictions about this DLC expansion and talk about some news. But Mac, what have you been up to besides getting into car crashes?
Well, first off, I didn't actually get in a car crash, in case anyone thinks I did. I've been just a couple of things. So I struggled with 2 months worth of writer's block, in which I just couldn't sit down and write anything, and it happened just as SMT5 Vengeance came out. So I found myself I want to do a review for this, but I can't actually put anything down. So that was just a fun 2 months where I just kind of didn't make anything, and I felt bad. But then they revealed that Joker is going to be in Persona 3 Reload, and I swear to fucking God, that just brought me out of my funk.
I love that was your muse.
I know. It's so weird. It's just, it happened. I didn't feel anything, and then I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's really funny that I don't feel anything about this. And then I stood there at work on a slow day, and just on the work computer, just wrote out a script in one go, uninterrupted. And then a couple of people think that the video is me complaining about Joker being in it. And I find that really funny.
You mean the headline watchers? The people who think they watched the video by just clicking the headline.
The headline, and then looking at the basic the setup, and they think they know where it's going, so they're just I just watched a man cry about Joker in P3 for 10 minutes, and it's you clearly didn't, because it's about how I'm not crying, and that's really funny.
We should link them to your very popular, uncontroversial video about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, that video's not even about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but that's what it's remembered for. That video is me defending that game almost.
Bro, I can't believe this like SJW cuck over here hates anime titties. Like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm just I used to be better, but then I got woke.
Oh, dude, I don't think we've talked about this either on the podcast or on the channel, but congrats on your job and sorry about the news. For anyone who didn't know, Matt got a job at the developers of Concord. He was the character designer. I'm really bummed to hear about the game made, but I mean, hey, at least everyone's talking about those characters you designed.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally. 100% that's what I did. That's where I work now. 100%.
I feel like you could put that on your LinkedIn and like no one would call you out on it. They'd be like,
no one would
probably
call me out on it.
Probably.
God, that game is so embarrassing. What the hell was that game? What the hell? But yeah, I'm back after writing that Joker P3 video. It just unlocked the block, and I have, as of a couple of days ago, I haven't been able to work on it just because of actual job. But I finished the script for the SMT5 Vengeance review. And now all that's left is to record it and edit it. But I feel like I'm gonna have.
How are you feeling though now that you've got the script locked?
Oh, I feel great. I feel great. I really just. Oh, do you mean about SMT5?
Oh, do you mean about just the block in general? Yeah.
Oh, I feel great. It really does just feel like that block's been removed. It's just so funny what got rid of it. It's so dumb. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm back to how it is. But past that, I've also, since I finished Vengeance, I didn't really have anything else to play for a good while, for a couple of weeks. So after I finished Vengeance, I started on my backlog, and at the very top of the backlog was Cyberpunk 2077. Now that it's finished.
Yeah, I need to get to that. I was waiting for a physical, and now that that's been out for like almost a year, I'm like, I've got no excuse.
It is so I'm still pretty early, and even then I'm gonna have to like step away from it for one, the answer, and two, Astrobot. But it is really good. It still has glitches, it's still wonky, but like compared to what it was, this is like less glitchy than a Bethesda game.
Glowing praise.
Yeah. Which, like, again, still glitchy, but the glitches are like weird, like physics problems and like the occasional like wonky texture or lighting. It's not like full blown, this cutscene got messed up because the game is barely struggling to run and then the game is crashing 20 times within the span of a week kind of stuff. It actually is. It's running fine. It's good, and I'm enjoying it, and the story's really interesting, and I'm having fun. It's good. I like it.
I'm like trying to think. I've unsurprisingly, 4 weeks of unemployment will lead to a lot of playing games. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you would think it led to me playing a lot of games. Ironically, it did not. But I did knock out a couple of different things. What did I have? So I beat Vengeance. Probably, God, at this point, it's been, literally a month. It was a month ago, pretty much from this podcast going out. And I was like, all right, I've got a month before more Persona. I don't want to just jump into another really long RPG. So here are all the games I have either put a very high amount of time into or platinumed. Don't ask me why, but Lego Lord of the Rings, not the console version, the like portable one no one likes.
The 3DS one?
The Vita one. It was it was also on Vita. But it is basically based off the 3DS version and runs like absolute dog trash. That's interesting. That's all I will say. I have like a long running like reviewing all Lego Vita games video one day. that I've been like poking around at, but I'm doing them in chronological release order. And the funniest thing about it is like the only one of those I ever started with was Lego The Force Awakens, which is the best of them. So I've just been slowly going through like, all right, how bad is this? Oh, this was pretty good. Oh, this was really bad. Oh, they had like no budget on this. Oh, that was pretty good. That I've just been like fiddling around with. I put in way too much time into the free-to-play mobile running game for Little Big Planet that no one remembers called Run Sackboy Run, literally just because it was a free-to-play game with trophies I needed to get on my Vita, and I was like, oh sure, I can do this like once a day for like 2 months and knock out most of the trophies. You're not missing much, but as a Little Big Planet fan, it was very weird to play. I've been sinking an inordinate amount of time into Theatrhythm Final Bar Line.
It's so good.
That's probably gonna be up there as one of the best rhythm games of all time. It's so
good. There's so much content. It's insane, especially with all the DLC. I gotta
get the DLC. It was one of those ones that I was waiting to get a physical version for the longest time. For some reason, Square just never really made that widely available. They never like put it in stores that like they did the Switch version. And then like I finally picked it up for like $15 brand new, and like that's what I'm gonna want to get the platinum for eventually. But just like there's so much there before the DLC that I'm in no hurry at all. Let's see, what else did I do? I finally got all the new trophies for Astro. So Mac, did you go up, because we're gonna talk about Astrobot in a little bit, but did you ever go back to Astro's Playroom?
Yes, that when I got my PS5, I think that was the first thing I did. Which
No. The new one, they like, so when they announced
Astrobot,
went
back to it.
Yeah, they added 5 new trophies to Astro's Playroom this year.
No, I didn't know that.
So, oh wow, I can't believe you didn't know this part. All right, so we're gonna talk about Astro a little bit.
Okay, I knew that they went in and they added like little like teases for the full game or something. They added like a little thing. I didn't know they added trophies though. That's why I'm like, whoa. I did not know about that.
Yes, so they added in, you can find 4 Astrobots, like the ones you'll find in the main game in Astro's Playroom, but they are all incredibly hidden. Like, the game tells you they're there. There's new trophies for them and everything, but they're added into the levels in little, like, fun mysteries, and, like, they're hidden so well you would literally be like, all right, without searching this, I don't know how I would find it. They've got a dude from Gran Turismo. They've got, I'm forgetting her name, but the lady from, I want to say like Nadine or something. I know the name is horrendously wrong. But the girl from Returnal, Ape from Ape Escape, and the female chick from the Daydream area in Bloodborne.
Oh, the doll.
Yes, the doll. The doll's there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm gonna go back and check that out. Just because that seems like a very, very quick, easy thing to do. But it's also just like, hey, I get to like now that the full game, like the full like paid game is out, now I get to go back to the first one, or not the first one, but the prototype for this, and like kind of re-experience it in a way.
So the other funny thing with it is they also added more of the PlayStation accessories that you can get through the Gachapon.
They added more of those. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a gotcha I can stand for some reason.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and it's nice too, because like we're, especially like right now where we're kind of at like before the PS5 Pro is still somehow not officially announced. Like I feel like any day now people are just waiting for Astro to get an update where they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, the PS5 Pro got revealed in Astrobot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like some kind of tease where it's like, oh, there's readings of another ship out there.
Yeah.
What is it? It seems like it's way stronger than ours.
By the way, thank you so much to Astrobot for not having the ugly PlayStation 5 Slim be his ship. I'm glad that it's the original chunky ass PS5. And then the only other 2 I've been playing, but this took me way more time than I would have thought. You know what? I'll say this one quickly, just because I'm curious if you ever went back to this. Did you ever pick up God of War Ragnarok, the Valhalla DLC?
I did not. I was at a friend's when it came out. and I watched him play a little bit, and then I never actually played it myself.
Oh, I forgot to actually say this. I also played in Platinum Spider-Man 2. That's actually what led me to God of War. So I finally did everything in Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 doesn't deserve the hate. It's definitely not as great as like a 2 as most people probably wanted it to be, but that game probably gets a little too much hate.
I think it's like 2. It's not so much that it's like bad or whatever. To me, it's just the impact of 1, and like overall, I think it is an improvement on 1 in like so many ways. And it's also an improvement on like Miles Morales. But it's the sort of thing where it's like there's just something about like the experience of 1 that is just, I thought the story was better, but it was also just like I don't know, it's just something about that first one where it's just like everything was hitting. I mean, not everything, but you know what I mean, where it's just like the whole experience just felt so much better to like experience, not necessarily like the feel or whatever. It's just that like this impacted me more.
100%.
Also, the story is just better. The story is just better. I think the story's better.
I agree, but I also think the fact that they marketed that game with as much venom as what's actually there is also very weird.
There. Do you know about the behind the scenes stuff?
I do about that, but that
it would have made so much more sense if that stuff didn't get cut, probably. Assuming.
But yeah, that led me to God of War Ragnarok, thinking, oh hey, I should do this because I'm in first-party PlayStation mode. I went to play it, thinking, oh, it's a roguelike mode. I know there's some story. There's probably not much. No, this is story, the video game. There is so much new story in it that I'm actually offended I've not heard enough people talk about it. So, like, if you even remotely like God of War Ragnarok, or especially classic God of War, if you've not been spoiled, perfect. Don't look anything up, but just know if you enjoy and played those original ones, this is like the love letter you always wished the newer ones did to the Greece mythology stuff, and I could not believe they did not charge for it. It was so wild.
No, my friend messaged me like a week later, and he was like, "Dude, there's like a lot in here."
It is. It's wild. Like, seriously, like I probably played it for almost 5 to 7 hours, and there's still more I could do.
And
then, unfortunately, a certain game came out mid-unemployment that I thought I would play a little bit of and played. I think I've almost played like 50 hours of in like a week only. Being unemployed and Vampire Survivors is not a good combination.
Oh yeah, no.
Mac, I have every achievement in that game because I kept thinking to myself, "Oh, cool, Vampire Survivors out. I'll get this because I had like a free $5 voucher." And then I was like, "Oh, I should go for the platinum. Oh, this is harder than I thought. Oh, this game gets weird. Oh my god, this platinum fucking sucks. I don't want to get this shit." And then I got the platinum. And I even told my wife, I was like, honey, I cannot wait to stop playing this game. As soon as I get the platinum, I'm going to stop. And then the lead up to me finally unlocking Queen Sigma led me to be like, well, I mean, I only got like an extra 80 trophies left. I guess I could go. I guess I could get the rest of the trophies.
Dude, I'm like, I'm not okay. You want to know just how big an impact Vampire Survivors had at my last job? So this was like about 2 years ago. So, you know, the PC version was out, but it wasn't really on like it was like the PC version and then like the mobile version. My boss, who is like a 40-year-old something, he was playing it on his phone at work one day.
It's a great phone game. Like, seriously, the only reason I waited this long was for the trophies, but it's honestly really good on phones.
Though I think, I don't know if they've changed it, but I remember I did test out the phone version just to see, and I thought the controls were like, it felt very much like they just put it on mobile and didn't really do anything. So I hope it's better, but at least at the time, it to me it was like, this doesn't feel good, but I hope it's better, because as far as I understand, it's really it's just been an upward curve for that game in every respect.
So When have you last played? Because here was me. I played it at launch after coming out of early access, and I never got to the ending of it, let alone knew all the free updates. Because man, there are some weird ass updates, even outside of the like collab DLC.
It was a couple of months ago. I booted up and I played it for an hour or so. It's
Yes.
been a minute.
They added space levels. They added basically like a Doom level. They added Batman as a character without being Batman. This fucking man, that game is that is a treat. Also, I will say this: I finally got a chance to play co-op, like local co-op in that game. I would think that that makes it easier. No, it is harder to play that game in co-op because you all have to share an item pool.
I never played co-op.
It's
That sounds it'd be bad.
it's really fun, but like it's that thing of just like it makes it even more chaotic. Highly recommend it. Vampire Survivors, $5. If you are morbidly curious about it, free version on phones. They're very nice about like the way they do their ads. It's very non-intrusive, and is a good way to know, hey, do I want to spend $5 on this game? And seriously, yeah, Mac, there are 221 trophies for the whole game, and this is how bad it is. I've already started to try and get the PS4 Platinum. I was like, oh, dude, I gotta stop this. But I've at least made it so that it's like, oh, hey, it's the when guests are over and we want like something to play really quick kind of game. Whereas at least like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I've got more stuff to play this week. Blah 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 blah. It was just so funny because it was like, man, I hadn't had a game like really suck me in that hard in a long time.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. It's just so funny to me how it was like like at its start and really even to certain degrees still is just a kind of just an asset flip. It just kind of like took
100%.
assets
Yeah.
from a bunch of games, but it's like it's just such a good formula that it's resulted in, hey, it's not as much of an asset flip anymore. That character isn't weirdly Bayonetta anymore.
By the way, did you roll credits on Vampire Survivors?
No, I never did.
100% recommend it just because of how fucking weird it is, but without spoiling anything. But hey, speaking of playing way too much stuff on your PlayStation, Mac, you've been playing Astrobot, which we're not going to get into because Spencer can't justify buying that yet until those unemployment checks come in.
But I played 2 levels.
Even better.
I played 2 levels. So
how was
not
the theme
that much
song?
The music's good. You know, one thing I'll say, and I'm sure this will change, but I thought the 2 levels I played, they were really good, but I thought they were weirdly like overcast. They were like not as bright as you'd think it would be, but not in like it's dim. It just felt like it was an overcast day where it's like it's just really cloudy and the sun's like kind of coming through. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It was kind of weird. But I doubt that will be the case for the whole game. It's just those 2 levels. It was like weirdly darker than I would have thought.
Notes I have not heard about. Notes I've not heard about that game. Be like, yo, man, check out the lighting on this.
No, like that's why I'm so like weirded out by it.
Are you surprised no one else has mentioned it?
A little, but again, it's only 2. It's only 2 levels. Too early.
That makes sense.
But if the whole game's like it, then I will be surprised that no one's mentioned it's just kind of overcast.
So, as anyone who's been on the internet will tell you, Astrobot is a fun kind of love letter to PlayStation specifically, but a lot of third-party games in general. And one of the new things with the Astrobot is you are saving all sorts of different like Astrobot versions of characters. So like Solid Snake, Abe from Oddworld, and they even have representations for Persona 3, 4, and 5. Now, did they do that because realistically, it's kind of weird to have that many reps of one series, and they just wanted to get some recent examples? Probably. Is it helping the allegations that Persona 1 and 2 don't exist? Not at all. That is not
No, not at all.
Not at all. But the internet wanted to spoil because, God forbid, anything be kept a secret. And we're just going to talk about it here. But I will say, knowing they're in there is not that big of a surprise. I will say, if you are a fan, do not look up how they are incorporated. That's kind of like the fun of the game. But we have a rep for all three. And I will say, I was kind of happy with how they did it, where we had Aigis for Persona 3, Teddy for Persona 4, and Joker for Persona 5. Big ups for it not being Morgana. I feel like Morgana would have been like the easy choice, even though I know obviously Joker has to be in every video game ever.
I feel like Joker's kind of the boring choice, but it's more so just the fact that he's in every video game ever.
Who else would you want from P5?
Really, the only other answer would be Morgana.
But you don't want Morgana.
Yeah, yes, but it's like it's the sort of thing where it's like it's a rock and a hard place, where it's either you get the boring answer or you get Morgana.
That should be another good Photoshop where it's like that image of like the Simpsons movie with the rock and hard place bar, and it's just, all right, you get a cameo for P5. Is it gonna be easy Joker asset flip or Morgana like crucifying your game?
Oh God! Speaking of asset flips and Morgana, friggin' for the Joker in P3 Reload, the answer for that, I did research and just made like a whole list of like, here's a bunch of like things that Joker and P5 has been in, and it reminded me of Morgana was a playable character in Super Monkey Ball Banana Slamma, I don't know. There's a million of them.
Slamma is Banana Mania, you fuck.
Whatever, I don't care. But the thing is, they didn't simply like, oh, we went and made a Morgana in the art style. No, they literally just took Morgana's model from P5 and put it in there, and he looks horrifying.
You know about the controversy for Banana Slamma, right?
Banana Slamma? No.
So Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania had various DLC characters. They had Hello Kitty. They had, so it was Hello Kitty, Morgana, and then there was somebody else. There was like 3 or 4 different characters. And the game, after 4 months, must have sold so bad that it was all removed and delisted, even the characters that Sega owns the rights to. You cannot buy the Morgana one anymore.
Why remove those?
Nobody knows. They have never commented. They have never answered any questions. The only explanation... Oh, it's Suzo. So it's Suzo, Morgana, and Hello Kitty. They all got delisted. By the way, if you don't remember, Suzo was the Monster Rancher eyeball. But they all got removed like 4 months after the game was out. Which, the only explanation for that has just got to be, oh my God, this must have sold really bad.
They had to take those out so they wouldn't have to pay the royalties.
Which, again, makes sense for Hello Kitty and makes sense for Suzo.
It makes me wonder if there's some weird contractual thing when it comes to just sharing between Sega and Atlus. It makes me wonder, because it's like, it really is just like, why? There has to be some weird thing in the contract that's not typical for like, hey, we own this studio. Like, there has to be something.
No, and it's extra weird too, because it's not like, oh, well, they just took out all the DLC for the game. No. You can still buy some DLC. You just cannot buy any of the collab character DLC.
That's so weird. From what I understand, the newest one is selling good.
Where are we? Where have you found this?
Just from what I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. My understanding is that it's just A lot of like Monkey Ball fans are a lot more positive and just like
No,
there's a
so
lot more buzz about it.
critically, yes, critically, it is very, very well received. I have not seen a single. This was one of those weird ones of like the Demon Slayer board game where I know why they made it a Switch exclusive, but also you'll probably see it on other consoles like 3 or 4 months later because it's like, yeah, that's probably where you're going to sell the most copies, but also like no one's talking about this game. Mac, did you know about the Demon Slayer Mario Party game?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, that is still one of the most baffling. Like, why?
You want to talk about weird asset flip games? When have we ever seen an asset flip for a fighting game turn into a Mario Party game?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's so weird.
CyberConnect, man. I know they don't got dot hack money anymore, but man, CyberConnect 2's in a weird spot.
They're just stuck in the make everything Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm.
No, dude, remember, before Connections last year, they hadn't made a Storm game since Naruto to Boruto.
No, I mean, like, they're not doing that. I mean, they keep like a lot of there are a lot of like anime fighters are all just nuns ripoffs.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. Well,
and they did Demon Slayer, which is just nuns.
Listen, I'm a fan of nuns. We're nuns appreciators here. That's fine. See, because like here was the weird thing. We didn't have a new like honest to goodness like game from them since, and I mean like big. Like I'm not talking about Fuga because there's Fuga 1 and 2, and I know they're working on 3.
Those are their little passion project games. They do like
that's
one,
like 5 copies.
Yeah, it's one of those one for them, one for me kind of things.
The one that I'm shocked about, though, that people always kind of forget to talk about, they did do Kakarot, which, to be fair, they supported Kakarot.
I forgot they did Kakarot.
Kakarot's pretty good. I forgot
Kakarot breaks that rule.
I forgot how long that they did that. But the funny thing is that I think a lot of people also forgot about was that JoJo All-Star Battle.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, I literally think no one bought that game. Like, do you see like you can still just buy brand new copies of that game for like $5. Like
I bought that game.
I love that they remade that, but like, oh my god, like, did just nobody buy it? Like, what happened to All-Star Battle R?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just went nowhere. Remember how the original had Gappy in it because Part 8 had just started? And then this one comes out after Part 8 ends, and it's like, oh, hey, you can like update Gappy to include a more faithful moveset or a more accurate moveset, or maybe you could add more Part 8 representatives. And then they were like, no.
How about not only that, they committed to doing a remake with new JoJo characters, and none of them being from Part 8 or JoJo Lands.
It could have just been like a very particularly like, okay, I don't need JoJo Land's characters. It would have been cool to have a recreation of what the original did with Part 8, but I didn't need it. What I needed was more JoJolian characters, because why?
Yeah, but that would take effort. We can't do that. Come on, man. I bet you don't even remember who the deal. Do you remember there were 6 DLC characters?
Yes, and they were a bunch of like, okay, I guess.
Well, I remember, and the reason behind this, I don't think they ever officially said it, but this was confirmed. The reason there weren't any other characters was because this is when Part 6 was coming out, because it was the anniversary of JoJo and the anniversary
there was
of
a big
6.
focus on Part 6.
Yep.
So they just added a bunch of Part 6 characters, and it's like, yeah, but like that's not what we wanted for this game. There's already a lot of Part 6 representation.
Yeah. That's a weird one.
Could have done anything else. You could have done anything JoJolian.
Yeah, but Father Poochie.
Weather report forecast. That's still the silliest name change. Like his name is Weather Report. That is not a copywritten name. You are not going to get sued over that. I swear to God.
One of these days, dude, you gotta make a JoJo's video.
Oh yeah.
Mac Talks
Yeah,
Joe.
and I'll make a video about how Persona is just ripping off JoJo, and then do a bunch of like very poorly researched, and by poorly researched I mean no research at all, claims.
Did you know that the school emblems for Persona are all based off real life car manufacturers?
Yeah. Whoa.
Mitsubishi.
BMW.
Yes. So, yeah, believe it or not, JoJo's originally started with us talking about Astrobot. But yes, Astrobot's out.
I forgot that's why we were doing it.
Everybody go buy Astrobot. And if someone's really nice, please buy Spencer a copy for his birthday.
Yay.
So, Astrobot's out. We can't really talk about it. Mac hasn't seen it. But I will say this. I'm glad the representation is there. Here's the weird thing, though. I was just thinking about this, because there have been a lot of people talking about Astrobot characters not in the game. Like, there's no Square Enix reps. Here's the more weirder one for me. Have you noticed? Unless there's like one I'm not aware of. There's Atlus reps, but there's not Sega reps. Are there any Sega games? I haven't seen any Sega games. Who?
Okay, and this is actually one of the ones I wanted to talk about, because to me it's like all the other cameos make sense. It's like, yeah, those are like references to games that are like heavily associated with PlayStation history, or the franchise got its start on PlayStation and is heavily tied to it, such as Persona. No, like the weird one to me, Ulala from Space Channel 5 is in there.
Oh, okay.
But I don't associate her with PlayStation. I associate her with Dreamcast.
There's a reason for that one. Okay, so I knew Ulala was in there, but I forgot the reason why. So the rights to Ulala are still with Sega, but most people forget that this happened a couple years ago. There was a PSVR exclusive Space Channel 5 VR game.
Oh yeah,
and
that might be it.
And no, that specifically had some Sony money put into it. So that's why Ulala is there, because there were the Sony connection there through the PSVR game, not due to any other ones with it. Because, like, I think, yeah, the only Space Channel 5 game we ever even got was Space Channel 5 Part 2.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the sort of thing that makes sense. I still don't think Ulala should be in the game, because the game is about celebrating PlayStation history and everything in it connects heavily to PlayStation, and that is such a weak justification to me.
No, it's because I think about it, dude, the fucking mouse from Moss is in it.
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's another PSVR game. Like, it's the thing. It's like, listen. Normally, I would get it.
Okay,
like, if it was,
but
like,
did the Moss franchise start on PlayStation?
It was PlayStation, PC.
Okay,
but like,
that makes sense.
But here's the thing, though. It's because there's that really special relationship between Astrobot, the game you're playing, and that first game he did being a PSVR exclusive.
Yes, and that makes sense to me. Whereas Ulala and Space Channel 5 is heavily associated with the Dreamcast.
I just can't believe you're over here. You and the fucking Days Gone director over here hating on Astrobot cameos.
Yeah, no, I fucking hate Astrobot. Like how dare you use my precious big franchise that I care so much about. My boy, how dare you use it to promote such a small trifle game that, like, frankly should have just been a pack-in title for the PlayStation 5 Pro. That
would fuck pretty hard, though.
Let's be real here. Like, this is not worthy of being a full game. In fact, I don't even think games like this should be allowed to get like 9s out of 10s. Though anything above a 90 should be reserved for like games that push the medium forward, such as like Last of Us Part 2, which told a story that I liked. You know,
I just can't believe that I'm gonna have all this recorded.
I'm just quoting someone, but I'm just quoting idiots on Twitter. By the way, I don't actually think I believe these things. This
Mac,
is not.
How many PlayStation Vita references do you think I'm gonna see in Astrobot?
Two.
What?
Two.
Teddy and Cat?
No, my guess. There's gonna be. You'll get a Vita in the gacha, like you could in Playroom, and then you'll get the memory card from the gacha.
That no shit. All right, this shouldn't get me that excited. If they include the world's tiniest memory card that is the Vita's proprietary memory, that would actually make my whole day. That would be so fucking funny to me.
It'd be so funny because it's also the reason why it's also like a huge part of the reason why the Vita fucking.
Like I'm imagining like the little like blurb next to it would be like small size, big consequences.
Big consequences because it was really expensive. Yeah, I had to get it, and people didn't want to deal with it.
That's really funny. That would make my fucking day. But yes,
yeah.
I would love to talk Astrobot. I'm infuriatingly jealous that everyone is playing it, but it's at the same time, I know it's not going anywhere, and it's a weird one too because it's like I could probably get it right now. Like if I wanted to be financially not wise, like I could probably suck it up and go get it. It's just it's coming out so soon before the answer that I know I don't want to rush through it, and I'd rather just kind of take my time with one versus just like buy two and let the other one sit there.
For me, it's just like I got paid the
From a
day
job?
before it came out. So I allowed myself.
Well, yeah, you're not an unemployed bum living off the state like me. You don't.
I was until like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but look at you now. That's 3
Yeah, I
months
have
of
a
employment
job
than me.
and I'm playing Astrobot. But you know what I could have been playing? Vampire Survivors.
It's true. Mac doesn't even have $5 anymore. It's fucking.
No, I don't even have $5.
So
Astrobot took my whole paycheck. I got paid $60.
Besides the Sega question being weird, here's my thing. I don't think Atlus needs more than 3 reps. I think 3 reps is already a lot. And you guys all know how much I love Persona 4. I almost would have rather lost Teddy. Because I know they're going to include P3 and P5 because they're the most new. Here's my thing, though. Could we just have had like a little Astrobot Jack Frost?
No.
That would have looked so much cooler.
No.
What do you mean? No.
Ew, no. That's not what people know. That's not Persona.
Jack Frost, though.
That's not Persona.
Heba Hoba.
You think the company mascot? You think people care about the company mascot? Mascot.
No.
No. Dude, no, like okay, honestly, for real. I think it's more so just SMT is more associated with Nintendo.
No,
Jack
it's
Frost
not.
is associated with.
No, it's not.
In the West, it's not. I think in Japan, it's more so associated. It got its origins with Nintendo.
I want to make a poll and prove you wrong drastically. Nobody thinks of like Nintendo when they think of SMT.
SMT, but they don't. It's not associated with It's not associated with PlayStation.
I'm just saying we deserve to at least have gotten a little Astrobot Jack Frost, Demi Fiend, and at the very least, imagine the blue hair on that little fucking Nahabino Astrobot.
Listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't have loved it also. I'm just saying I don't think of PlayStation when I think of SMT. I'm more likely to think of Nintendo because the mainline games have, aside from Nocturne, have always been on Nintendo. So to me, it's more, I associate it more with Nintendo, even if that might not feel right.
You're killing me, dog. You're killing me.
You're killing me.
Speaking of killing me, and Shin Megami Tensei. Mac, I will pay you $10 right now to buy 2 copies of Vampire Survivors if you can tell me one thing the latest patch for SMT5 Vengeance fixed.
I'll be honest, I didn't look at the patch.
So here's the thing. Atlus did not post there was a patch. Atlus did not say, hey, there's a new fix out on all consoles. And I got it. It went live at around 11 o'clock at night for me a couple of days ago. Went live on September 3rd, so last week. And I was like, oh my god, it's a new patch. Maybe the new, because remember, there was the demon poll they did back in August.
Yeah.
And I was, oh my god, maybe they added the new demon in. So the new Demon Navigator did not get added in, but this is the first new patch that will eventually lead to that. It's version 1.0.2. It's nothing major. It's literally just a couple of different fixes on like minor bugs and issues. Big notes are basically fixed issue where controllers stop working sometimes after being used on multiple different devices. Low possibility of game crashing upon startup. Let's see, fixed progression bugs, text issues, graphical issues, and other functioning issues. Just quality of life stuff, nothing major. But they did leave a little thing at the bottom that says, in addition, several new Demon Navigators will be implemented in future updates, plural. Please look forward to future details. So not only does this mean we are getting more patches, we're getting more than one demon. It also means that Atlus lied and voting is a fraud. We all voted for nothing. They're going to add whoever they want. No, not really, but
they're going to add everyone on that list.
That legitimately, I thought about that, and I'm like, realistically, why not just add all of them? Why would they not? Like, what if it's not all demons or can be navigators? Why did you make that list? Like, it wasn't like the list. There was no rhyme or reason for some of them, so it is kind of funny to just think like, okay, why not just do that? But I wanted to put the question out there. I was like, okay, so we've got this patch here. We know demons are coming. What are some things that we would like to see Atlus do for patches? Patches for like Vengeance, kind of like going forward, of like even if they only like add little tiny things, like, and I'm not even meaning like new content. Like, is there something, since we have the chance, like what's the Soul Hackers 2 run button of this game that we would like them to add?
Explicit differences between the navigators.
Mac, do you remember when we waited like?
And I mean like a list, not like, because there are differences, but I mean like just please, as far as I'm aware, there's still not a complete list as to what all of the differences between the navigators are.
And the funny thing about that is, most people did not even know that there were differences between the navigators until that one quest in whatever the third area is. I always forget where it is.
Chiyoda.
No. I think he shows up in both the different third areas. But there's that one quest where you have to find gems, diamonds, and different stones.
Oh, you're talking about Canon of Vengeance.
Yes.
I thought you meant the original.
No, you're good. But like, and what's funny is like people are like, oh, well, why does one navigator change what spawns versus the other? And I told people, it was like, oh, well, yeah, they all have differences. And I mean, understandably so, the game never mentions that they are different. They just act like, oh, hey, do you want silly mascot demon to run around with you?
Yeah, it's like please just tell me what the differences are, because online there isn't, as far as I know, again, there's not a complete list.
No, there's not. Well, there's a list of the navigators, but not what they do.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, some of them will be some of them people have figured out that like, oh, this one causes more incense to spawn. This one has more bombs or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. It's still not all of them. I don't know what Naho Biho does. I just know that I like him the best because it's Naho Biho.
He's got corporate synergy.
Yeah, that's what he does, and it's great. One thing that I'm gonna mention in my Vengeance review, I really wish you could just carry over the navigator into New Game Plus, because now that I'm in New Game Plus, it's like, no, let me just explore the whole game with Naho Biho.
See, but you say that now with the patch they could do that.
They could do that. That would be a nice. Another feature that I'm baffled is just not there. Is why not let us just switch forms at will?
Yes.
In New Game Plus?
That's when I found. Well, yes, when I found out that you are locked into forms, I was very kind of confused because it's like, honestly, why not, especially on New Game Plus, let me run through Canon of Creation with the new Vengeance outfit? Like, yeah,
So
it canonically makes no sense, but why not?
That's the thing. Like, on a first playthrough, yeah, I get it. There's a story reason for it. It makes complete sense. I get it. But New Game Plus,
It don't matter.
it doesn't matter. Just let me switch. That feels like something that would be a very easy thing to add for new in a patch. Just a toggle in the options menu, or an item or something. It just feels like such like a minor, easy thing to do, and I'm just kind of baffled it's not there in the first place. Yeah, I would like that, and then just an explanation as to what the differences between the navigators are.
One of my big ones, not my biggest one, but one of my big ones, please adjust the balancing or allow us to just use guest characters better in New Game Plus. Because
guest characters are fucking useless in New Game Plus.
As someone who loved using them in my original run through, it really sucks having guest characters just be like level 3 scrubs getting like one shot on like Godborn difficulty.
It's a shame. It's a shame because it's like I want to use them because it is really cool, but no, it's useless. They're useless.
Hey, speaking of things that are useless, Mac, how do you feel about U2s?
I think they are another kind of Funko Pop that is easier to swallow. Only because no, I don't mean in like a like I like them. They're easier to swallow.
Literally.
Because the reason why people aren't as like about them as Funko Pops is because they rather than at first getting like the big brands and paying for the licenses, they were smart and went for YouTubers who wanted easy merch
and had asked for little to no royalties.
Exactly. It's like, hey, cool little figure of me, some royalties that they would have liked, but compared to what they probably would have made is nothing.
Which, by the way, is hilarious because if you go to youtubes.com, their whole lineup, there is only one. Oh, I found Markiplier.
Hey.
On their whole lineup, on the immediate available one, they only show 4 YouTubers.
And that's what they initially built the thing on.
Their whole thing was YouTubers, whereas now they've got AEW, John Wick, Spider-Man, Binding of Isaac, Futurama, WoW, Spyro, My Hero, Invincible, Peanuts. One day I'll find someone who likes Cookie Run Kingdom. Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, Mac, have you seen the Chainsaw Man ones?
I did, and they hid what was it? They hid Makima for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, they did the thing when they announced them that it's like, oh, here's like the 5 figures, but one of them is silhouetted, and then you look at what the figures are, or no, it was like 6 figures, but you look at like what figures are there, and it's like, oh, there's Denji, there's Chainsaw Man, there's Power, there's Aki. Who could possibly be the last one? Who could it possibly be?
And it was
Makima, and it's like you got 3 of the 4 that you would do it on. So it's like, why are you hiding this?
So what I find funny about the Chainsaw Man lineup for U2s is more than any other like series that they put out that I've ever seen, they commit so hard to the Pochita merch, and I am all here for it.
I will say that I do like the Pochita. I like the Pochita.
By the way, I don't know why their website is broken, but if you click on the One Piece section for the Netflix One Piece figures, you get My Hero Academia, Vox Machina, Ruby, My Hero Again, some YouTuber named Razbowski, and Moist Critical.
Yeah,
One
One Piece.
section.
Yeah, One Piece. That's One Piece.
Oh my god, I just realized I think why it is. It's because they're all wearing One Piece outfits.
Oh, that's absolutely what.
I don't know if that's on purpose, but that's a choice.
I love the One Piece memes where it's just a clip from something and a character says One Piece and then there's just a hard pause and then that one PNG of Luffy just slowly fades in.
I have not seen that. If you find any of those, please.
It's a great meme because it's the same thing every time where it's like you think you're just watching a clip from some show and then a character says One Piece and then it just hard pause and then over the course of like 30 seconds Luffy slowly fades in.
That's really funny. I thought
so stupid.
I thought the one you were gonna say was like the one where it'll be like someone says a really random line from like One Piece, be like it's just a character mid sentence saying all blue, and it plays the theme song.
I wonder if I've been wondering this, especially because like about a month ago we got all that details about the One Piece. I'm wondering what they're gonna do about the music because the music in One Piece is so iconic.
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering how much is gonna be new, how much is gonna be remixes, how much is gonna be the same. Like there's just so many aspects. It's like they could genuinely. I'm just really curious what they're gonna do with the music.
So Matt, I forget if I told you this, but did I ever tell you what Mary's first experience with One Piece was?
No.
Her first ever anything was I took her to go see Film Red with me in IMAX.
That's a weird first one.
Well, it wasn't her choice. Oh. I was seeing it in IMAX. She just happened to be forced to come with me.
She just came.
Yeah, because she's like, listen, I'm going to be there for a while. But the projection broke, and the movie was 2 hours delayed. And it was one of those. It was opening day. There was one showing. I was committed to watching this fucking movie in IMAX. So, what was it? So while we were waiting for the projector to get started, I was like, okay, well, hey, I can give you a quick introduction to what One Piece is about. And we watched the like little prologue episodes leading into Film Red, the like little like 2-episode arc.
Yeah. Oh, you could do that with that kind of delay, yeah.
Yeah, so we watched that, and then what was so funny was at the time it was a really big TikTok trend, but I wasn't really aware of it. Mac, for all of our listeners out there, when One Piece goes and does the halfway commercial break, what's the sound?
It differs depending on
what's the one that everyone knows of? Like, what's the most iconic one? Like early first season pre-time skip. You're watching One Piece.
It's the Luffy one. It's the Luffy one, right?
Yeah, but do you remember what it sounds like?
Yes, but that's the thing. I know what it sounds like, but I can't think of it enough to do a little like whatever to make the sound. Let's just say no. I don't know what song this is. What are you talking about? What is this One Piece?
It's a show about swimsuits. They just got some swimsuits going on.
It's kind of hot.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, the music I'm talking about is like there are different commercial breaks for One Piece, but the most like kind of memed one is there's like a little it's either a horn or a trumpet, but it does
that one, yes.
And then followed by the like when we had that come during the episode, Mary was like, "Oh my god, that's what this is from!" Like she just heard it so many times. She's like, "This has an origin."
Okay.
There are many of those, so do not feel bad about not knowing the specific one I was talking about. But it would be funny if the very famous like what was it, like a flute or whatever, like doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that might have been what I was actually thinking of, the flute one.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them, but yes. Long tangent aside, U2 has announced that they are collaborating and releasing Persona action figures. By the way, not our first collab announcement this year. I feel like people already forgot about this, but Mac, don't forget, McFarlane Toys is going to be releasing P3R figures.
What the hell?
Did you miss this?
I guess. Okay.
They haven't shown any off, and I think it must be quite a ways off because like we've had a lot of the big toy shows and they haven't shown them yet. But McFarlane Toys are very hit or miss, especially with their anime. So I don't know. Do you have any toy opinions on McFarlane Toys?
Not really. I mean, like aside from what everyone is like, they're very hit and miss, and some of them are cool, but I just they're not one of my go-tos, I'd say.
It's a choice. They're cheap though, so like the chance of them coming out and going to retailers is a choice. Also, I will say apologies because apparently time is a flat fucking circle. This actually got announced 2 months ago, so that's why we haven't seen anything. So this got announced 2 months ago, and we're going to be getting with we have no idea which characters. All we know is they will be 7-inch figures. So they'll be the posable ones with articulation and accessories, but we don't know who. I would assume it's a safe bet. They're probably not going to commit to all the C's members, but you're probably at least going to get like Aigis, protagonist, and Akihiko. I don't know.
I think it's gonna be the initial 3 in Aigis.
Oh, you think Yukari, Junpei, protagonist, and Aigis? Yeah, I could see that.
Those are the safe options. It's like how whenever there's gonna be something P5, you always get Joker, Morgana, On, and Ryuji.
Very rarely I feel like we very rarely get Ryuji stuff.
Yeah, no, it's the sort of thing where he's typically the 4th out of those, I feel. But I think it also another thing is Ryuji's the least popular in Japan.
Ooh,
which is so dumb.
That's why they include the beat up scene.
God, I still don't understand. I understand. I've had it explained to me why Japanese audiences don't really care for him. It's like I understand it. I get it. I don't understand.
Mac, we can't bang him. Why are we going to be a fan if we can't bang him?
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, we're not talking about the McFarlane Toys, but just to kind of get like some toy knowledge for it, I think the initial idea, if you've never seen a U2's, please look this up. They're a choice. The art style for them, it's kind of, especially the Persona ones, they're very interesting. Clearly Atlus did not let them stylize very much, because none of them have the kind of signature eyes closed, overly kind of nubby looking proportions that you see with a lot of the different ones for it. I don't hate them. They are only doing 3, and it's very weird of like, it's Persona 5, and kind of like you were mentioning of like, hey, when we do stuff with Persona, it's specifically Tactica, which is going to lead to a point of mine that I have a big problem with, is that we have Joker, Morgana, and Arena. My bad. Arena. Every time I look at her name, I have to remind myself, I forget. It's Arena, even though it's spelled Arena. Mm-hmm. So, Mac, what's my problem with this lineup?
There's no Skrunkly.
Who the fuck is Skrunkly? Oh, from The Simpsons. Sorry. How could I forget Skrunkly?
Oh, do you mean Graggle?
Fuck you! How dare you actually remember the real name? I'm so upset about you.
No, there's not including the Skrunkly.
Who's Skrunkly?
The baby boy.
Who's the baby boy?
The grown ass man.
He has a name. Just tell the internet you haven't played Tactical like a heathen. Did you know there's fucking Helldivers 2? Fucking There's fucking Helldivers 2 U2s.
What?
I have so many questions. Where does this IP end?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It is the second Funko Pop.
It really is, because, like, by the way, I don't know if, like, malls near you have them. Malls stock U2s here the way they stock Funkos.
I will say, I like the art style of U2s more than Funko Pops. I don't like it, but I like it more.
I agree with you overall for the kind of general aesthetic they normally have. My problem is this. I don't even know I don't. I can't justify the price. The price is so confusing to me. So, like, a normal Funko Pop is anywhere between like $12 to $15, not counting like exclusive editions and things like that. It's about a 4 to 5 inch figure normally, and U2s are very similar to Funko Pops. If they come in a square cardboard box, they're about 5 to 4 inches tall. But U2s are $30.
Yeah, no, like that's a big. That's
a commitment.
That's the thing about Funko Pops. The reason why Funko Pops got so big is because they
were so cheap.
They're so cheap, and there's a million of them, and it's like your favorite franchise is going to have one, and it's a good way of guaranteeing that, like, hey, I'm a fan of this niche franchise. Is there merch? Oh yeah, there's a Funko Pop. And it's like, it's if the average person who just wants to kind of get one, get some merch for it, like, it's a very easy, cheap option. So I get why they blew up the way they did. I don't understand people's obsession with them.
Oh, bro, it's insane. I don't know if you ever know. Have you seen, like, I don't know what it is, some anime Funko Pops, man. They are expensive as fuck.
Oh, I bet. There are a few Funko Pops where I think that style does work, but it's like hyper specific characters.
I like my Gear 5 Luffy. My Gear 5 Luffy looks good.
I like that big All Might one they did.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty okay.
I think what helps is they let him have his smile, and his eyes are already black.
Oh, you should look this up.
So it didn't look that off.
In front of you. Look up Sackboy Funko Pop.
Oh, I bet they're gonna Sackboy Funko Pop. Oh, that's just Sackboy.
It's straight up just fucking Sackboy.
That's perfect. That's perfect, actually.
That was the early days, though. To be fair, they probably would have tried to butcher him now. But, like, I saw that at a store today, and I thought that was so funny. I was like, wow, it's like they didn't even try to make it not Sackboy. It's just Sackboy.
Sackboy just has such, like, a easy design.
So can I lock you down for one Astrobot Funko Pop then?
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. Mark me down on. Oh god, I just had the realization, if Sony was smart, PlayStation was smart, they would just make Astrobot Funko Pop equivalent.
Oh my god, with all the different cameos,
dude.
Oh my god,
I would actually like it. I would like it.
I'll get you the guy from Days Gone just for you.
Oh yeah, my favorite, and then I'll go get the director to sign it.
Oh my dude, that'd be a
that dude to sign it. Oh
that
my
would
god.
be a fucking collector's item for sure.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
We've got Joker, Arena, and Morgana announced. They're $30 a pop. You can pre-order them now. They say limited edition, but also, like, unless they're, like, ever a retailer exclusive, most U2s don't sell out. At least not relatively soon. Pre-orders went up on their website. It will be shipping next year in the March to April timeline. And I'm in this weird side Mac where I'm like, all right, number one, I love that it's specifically Tactica. I don't know who forced them to do Tactica, but, like, as someone who loves Tactica, and that game has, like, zero fucking merchandise. Like, literally, there's almost no fucking merch out there for Tactica. I think that's really cool. I think the art style works with the sort of chibi nature of it. especially. I hate that it's $30 though. And then the worst part on top of it is I'm still probably gonna buy all 3 of them. Because here's my thought process. Oh, that's a lot of money. But I mean, it's like the first time they're ever gonna do it. So if I don't buy it and they totally tank, then no one's gonna buy them and they're not gonna do any more. And then I think, well, I mean, I really don't want to buy all 3. That's like $90. But I mean, I'm already gonna buy 2. And then you might as well get the 3rd one.
Complete the set.
God damn it. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm in no hurry, obviously. That's fucking 1.5 copies of Astrobot right there. By the way, you twos, after our glowing endorsement of your company, if you'd like to give us a review copy of these bad boys, my mason jar is ready. My mailing address is there. But yeah, I probably, if I'm being realistic with myself, I will end up trying to own all 3 of these eventually. But if I had to choose, I could easily say fuck it to Joker and Morgana. I'm really just excited that Arena had one. Fucking Arena, Jesus Christ! It's just because I'm looking at it. But I'm really excited that they got merch of her for it. I sent a message to Arena's voice actor the second these got announced, and I was like, they better fucking give you a pallet of these bad boys, because I was like, there's not going to be any other official merch that comes out from that game besides this. But Mac, what do you think? Are you mixed? Are you happy to ignore them? Are you morbidly tempted?
I'm not tempted. My main thought when I saw it was like, oh, this actually works for the Tactica art style.
Yes.
I think it actually looks really good considering. It's not 1-to-1 exactly, but it does look good, and I do quite like it. I'm not gonna get it, partly because I don't care, partly because expensive. But I think it's cool. I think it's actually pretty cool. I approve, so to speak.
I approve. Won't be buying, but I do approve.
Yes.
Well, Mac, speaking of things that you may or may not be buying, did you know that there's a new fucking Atlus game coming out in 2 days?
What? There is?
So, the Answer / Episode Aigis / the Persona 3 Reload expansion pass, the final piece of content, finally comes out on 9/10. Never forget. And I want to talk to you about a couple of different things for it. Mostly, I'm kind of all over the place, but I want to sort of have this episode be like a little time capsule of neither of us have played it. I know there's some people playing review versions, but there's not I think there's a lot of different aspects to sort of go at with this release, but I sort of first and foremost want to bring you back on, because we haven't talked about this, you and I, since that episode where we sort of talked about the price debacle. And that was way, way, way before we'd really seen as much as we had now. I will say, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job at not justifying the cost for it, but trying to show, Joker aside, trying to show hey, this is a lot of content. This is a lot of this is a basically brand new game you're getting here. But Mac, where are you at with the expansion pass as a whole, and with Episode Aigis, where we stand right now? Spoilers kind of conscientiously out there, and I only say that just because I know they've been showing a lot more stuff, but spoilers for a RPG 20 years ago, but then also at the same time for the stuff out there with it. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm kind of the mindset of if it's something old, spoilers abound, but if it's getting a remake or a re-release, or for whatever reason it's kind of reaching new audiences, then there's kind of a courtesy I think should be applied. Anyway, I haven't played the Answer because the original Answer, I mean, because I couldn't stand to finish P3 original. It just really didn't work for me. So why would I play the thing that is effectively a sequel to it? So I don't really know too much other than just kind of general, like, the big stuff. I guess first off, what I should say actually is some people might remember that I did the Persona 3 Reload review for Game Explain, and I've been playing it I was playing that like a month before it came out for everyone else. That is not the case this time. I do not have it. It's not because of anything. It's just because Game Explain is I don't know if people are gonna know this part, but Game Explain is just going through some time right now.
Yeah, Mac killed Game Explain.
I killed it. I killed Game Explain. I personally went up to Andre and said, "Hey,
Jesus,
fire all of your full-time staff. Not fire. Let go. let all your full-time staff go because I said so." And he was like, "Okay."
And continue to not pay me.
And continue to pay me. No, I was always paid well. I was always paid well whenever I did stuff for them. But yeah, it's I'm just not covering it. They're just they're in a weird time right now, so I don't have it. So if I'm gonna get it free, it's gonna be through like some creator, like game site or whatever. It's gonna be through them reaching out to me and offering it. It's not. I'm gonna have to buy it any other way.
Well, Mac, here's the question: are you where we're at right now? Would you lay down the 35 bones to play this on Tuesday if you don't get a code?
Yes, because I would need it to do a video, because that would be,
Okay, internet content aside, as a fan, where would you wait for a sale? Which, by the way, we'll get to the sale thing shortly, because I've had that come up a lot. But like right now, videos aside, as a strict fan, are you like, fuck it, I'll buy the $35 now or not?
Oh, I would hold off.
Really? How come?
I think 30 is still quite, like $35 is still quite a bit of change.
Half the price of the game, man.
Yes, I still think that's a little much, and it's like, I get it. I think what it is just the fact that they marketed this as an expansion pass, and it does not feel like a pass. It feels like, oh, we had some costumes that we were going to sell like as DLC, but then Sega made us do a pass because they want to try and do that for their games now. And then the actual meat, what I'm actually paying for, is the answer, which is going to be quite a bit. But it's also just the sort of thing of like, I feel like I would rather just kind of hold off and like wait to get it a little bit cheaper later. But it's just like, yeah, the first two waves are such nothing that it feels like they already had plans and then they were forced to make it a pass.
So then, see, that's so interesting, because like for me, I'm genuinely curious, because I know there's a lot of people who are in the same boat as you right now. I really do wonder how many people are going to still say that once this comes out and either people start playing it. I don't actually know. Are you aware if anyone like that we know is playing it? I know one guy who's playing it, but he's for a big outlet. But like outside of that, like, have you heard of anyone really playing this?
No.
So it's a thing of like, I'm sure there will be an embargo like Monday or Tuesday when this episode goes up. I'm curious if either word of mouth or reviews will change people's minds, because like, unless something really rank happens with the answer, I'm generally optimistic at this point that most reviews will be like this. It is a faithful adaptation of the answer. It takes some liberties. It might do well in a few spots with it. It might be a little clunky due to what it's based off of. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 30 to 40 hours of more Persona 3 Reload, and people want more Persona 3.
I still feel like even with with how much there is, I still feel like, particularly just the fact that it's DLC, the price point will probably still be a little too high for people.
Damn.
And it's the sort of thing where it's like, again, it's not necessarily, it should have been marketed as just Episode Aigis, but it's not. It's like a whole expansion pass, and I feel like
Baby's first season pass did not go over well.
It really did not go over well, and I feel like it's the sort of thing where it's like that. This last thing will absolutely be like worth it, but it's just like, I feel like for some people they might not feel as though it would be worth it at the time, and they would probably rather hold off, because like even when FES came out, that was also like a new version of the game, of the base game, where like there were genuinely some differences that some people might want to, check out. They didn't have to play it, but they might want to check it out. But also FES was sold at a cheaper price than the base game, from what I understand. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like there would probably be some hesitation in terms of the price. But we'll see. I think people in general, when it comes to DLC, tend to, it doesn't matter what the DLC is. I feel like there's almost always going to be some level of hesitation.
I think especially with expansion passes, it gets harder in the sense of like a true proper expansion. Because I think there are some people out there who, when they hear an expansion, they think of, and Atlus is the worst culprit of this. Oh, hey, we're going to give you a new dungeon. Motherfucker, that is Nocturne in the hospital map with a different fucking shader on it. That is not a new level. That is you recycling content and charging me for fucking nothing new. So they are very bad and guilty at that. At the same time, a real expansion, like a real big expansion, as we've seen like two really good examples of this, Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk and Erdtree, those basically are like another release altogether for these games.
Another example I was thinking of, and I was pulling up just to double check in terms of price.
Xenoblade
3.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3.
What was that one?
And Torna. But I'm specifically thinking about 3. Because that Torna just blows out of the war. Blows.
I need to clip that out.
Torna out of the water, just in terms of being like, holy crap, this is a full game.
Same with I mean, honestly, all of Monolith's adventures into DLC have pretty much had that effect. But it's so funny because like we've had public demos, we've had a lot of trailers, we've seen the game, press has previewed the game. We're like hours away from reviews going live. And the funny thing about it is, like, I think that they would have to cataclysmically blow this in a way that I don't even think is possible for them, just in the side of like, dude, I don't know how they would fuck it up that bad, just in the side of like, seriously, like how good that game is, like with how good that like the whole game is, like I don't know how you would blow it that hard, you know? So it's like Persona 3 Reload gave me so much faith in that team and their ability to kind of adapt that source material that I look at them taking something even as controversial as The Answer and it being like, dude, I just want more stuff to kind of run through. I would love to see more story. I'm excited to see the new cutscenes. Another great example, like looking at where they're putting their money into it, like this does not feel like it's a cheap DLC. Like that animation they did for the opening movie, mind you, the original opening movie for Fez was like a fucking YouTube AMV video, so like really bad comparison, but like I really liked it. Like, what did you think of the new opening? Like, I loved the song. I thought it was a perfect fit for like what The Answer is, and I thought that like animation. Are you just haven't had a chance, or like purposefully like avoiding it?
I am purposefully avoiding it because I would rather boot the game up and see it there.
That is completely understandable. Normally, I'd be the same, but I'm like, it's the fucking opening movie. I can wait. Like, there's a few things like I kind of have that feeling with. Oh my god, you would not believe how hard it was avoiding the opening movie for Kingdom Hearts 3. That fucking man, when that game leaked, I was dodging spoilers left and right.
I
But
don't I don't remember what I don't remember if I was able to avoid the spoilers or not.
Cage 3 leaks were wild because remember it leaked over a month and a half before release. It leaked before
Mm-hmm.
Christmas.
Yeah. No, I do remember that. That was bad.
So I definitely get it. I get the price turning people off. By the way, really weird. Atlus still does not have an edition that lets you buy the game and the expansion pass. Here's the extra fucked up part, Mac. There are 3 versions you can buy of Persona 3 right now. Regular game for $70. For $80, you don't even get any DLC. You just get the digital art book and soundtrack. And then for $100, you get the soundtrack, art book, and the DLC pack, which just says DLC pack, does not include the expansion pass. So if you wanted to buy everything, even digitally, the game would cost you about $135 right now.
Jesus.
Now again, the DLC included, that DLC included is completely fucking skip and you miss it. You do not need any of that DLC. And the expansion pass, like, realistically, you can find copies of Persona 4, Persona FOR, Persona 3 Reload. You can find copies of it for, I've seen it as cheap as like $35-$40. And again, I think $40 if you, I wouldn't recommend buying the expansion pass if you don't own Persona 3 already, but there's millions of us who already have bought it. It's that thing of like, I think this is a good release time. There's not a lot of big RPGs sort of crowding the space. It's going to be just long enough to kind of last you until Metaphor, which is probably what they want. It's going to be about a month of content and then kind of get us there with it. But again, the other kind of question goes to, all right, you and a bunch of other people say like, oh, hey, maybe I'll wait for it to go on sale. Maybe I'll wait for it to go on sale. If they don't make a bundled SKU for this to go on sale, Atlus very rarely actually discounts their DLC. So what Atlus likes to do, and even right now there's a sale going on that makes this even more tricky. Mac, if you want to buy Persona 3 Reload, would you believe me if I told you it is cheaper to buy the digital deluxe edition versus the normal edition?
The why?
Atlus, for some reason, does this all the time. And Nocturne, and less so with Soul Hackers, but Nocturne and Persona, they do this a lot with. They even did this with Monarch. Not Monarch, RIP Monarch. Unicorn Overlord, where they will discount the all-in-one versions before the regular version. So if you want to buy the digital deluxe version of Persona 3 Reload, it is $48 digitally. That's almost half off.
That's good. That's really good.
But if you want the game without the extra PNGs and soundtrack, still $70.
That is just so bizarre to me that they would do that.
But here's my other thing that I just don't get. Like, unless, and again, this could change on launch day. It is so weird to me that they've been selling this season pass for what? They put it up on sale in April. Let's see when this went up on sale for. March 11th. Yeah, a month after the game came out. March 11th is when the season pass went on sale. And there's no bundle with just the game and just that. Like, I'm even shocked, like, they haven't even cheaped out and made us, like, seriously, 'cause when they do this, I will 100% cave. Mac, when they inevitably re-release Persona 3 Reload with the expansion pass on the disc, I will be there. I will be there, and unfortunately double death.
Honestly, I do think it's it is a mistake that there isn't a bundle with the DLC. I think that is a big mistake because I think especially if that was something that was announced like just before release or you know something, I feel like that would help make a lot of people feel more comfortable with the price of the expansion pass, or just like some kind of like I don't know some way to kind of like get it, or to get a kind of like some sort of discount or something. I don't know. It just, I feel like, I don't know. I really think just the price as is going to be kind of a hold up for some people.
So here's the problem though. And I don't know how people would feel about this, but let me look this up. So Elden Ring right now, if you want to buy just Elden Ring, it is $60. Erdtree is $40. So we're in a situation where the expansion for Erdtree is more than the expansion pass for Episode Aigis, but the base game is $10 cheaper with Elden Ring. If you buy the bundle with both that they sold before and even after Elden Ring, there's even a physical version of it. There's a Shadow of the Erdtree edition. It's $80. Like the box and the digital version is $80. And I think honestly, that's a steal. You're saving yourself about $20 overall, and you're bundling it there. My question is, let's use the same logic. Let's say Atlus takes $20 off the price of the game and makes you pay for the answer. So we're going down, and let's say it's 75 if we're being generous, but realistically it'll be 80. So 75 to $80 is a bundle for P3R and the answer. I still think people would say it's too expensive, which I think is crazy.
Yeah, so yes, I just think it would make it I think it would there would absolutely still be people that say it's too expensive. But I think it would be less than it is at the moment, I guess is the way to put it.
It's also tough because this is not like Phantom Liberty or even Elden Ring. I guess actually they are kind of similar, because Phantom Liberty you can't play right away, and even like Torna I wouldn't recommend anyone jumping into. All of these big expansions are all very much kind of pitched like epilogues. They are not meant for you to just buy the game and then jump right into the new hotness. So that's like the tough part of then about like, okay, well, why are you waiting for a bundle if you haven't already played this like 80-hour game?
Mm-hmm.
So like where do you kind of go at for it in there? Because it's like these people who are waiting for a sale, realistically, because again, Atlus games always go on sale, but they always go on sale physically or the digital versions of the game on themselves. The DLC on its own, very rarely does Atlus actually discount their DLC. I know the hard way. I've been waiting on them to discount their DLC for the fucking dancing games for about 5 years now.
The funny thing, actually, just while I'm thinking about it, I got the story DLC, the day one story DLC for Soul Hackers 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for $3 on sale a while ago. Yeah.
Nice.
And I literally recorded myself buying it because I do want to do a video on it eventually. And I want to include the fact that like, yo guys, I got this for $3. Here's the proof. And it's like, it'll just show a video. It'll just be like, here's a video of me buying it for $3. And then there'll be a joke about like, oh crap, my credit card or whatever.
Lost it due to Soul Hackers 2. You got soul hacked.
Yeah, I got soul hacked.
By the way, here's the fuckery, Mac. Here's the fuckery I'm talking about. Soul Hackers 2, regular edition, PlayStation Store, $15. Great deal. Buy that game. $15 just for the base game. Digital, deluxe edition, $70. That only includes the game, that story DLC you talked about, the Lost Numbers, and the booster item bullshit pack. That's $70. How much do you think the digital premium edition, which, reminder, comes with all the DLC minus the pre-order P5 costumes, but you also get the exclusive Iho costume and the Demon and the Mary Maid costume and everything else? How much do you think that costs?
$10.
22. $22. I paid $90 for that fucker.
I did as well.
Wait, you bought the $90 version?
I bought the collector's edition, which had that stuff.
No, it did not. So this was
didn't
the
have all of it,
but
what I mean is that a lot of the stuff that I cared about was in it.
That's true, because the digital DLC fuckery with Soul Hackers 2 will forever be a side thorn I will not ever get rid of. But yes, Atlus is just so weird. They love to discount the bundles, but they almost never discount the individual stuff, and it just it doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of at least just gets to my logic of okay, I get it. People kind of want to wait. What's going to be that sweet point? And then kind of also gets me to worry that okay, I'm pretty confident that this will sell well. And if at the very worst it sells okay enough to justify costs, I feel like I will be shocked if this game doesn't end up breaking even. And even if it doesn't, I'll be shocked if it's something that we kind of learn about. But the tricky part in my head is what message are we going to send? Because I feel like I would, if this is good, I would want this to be something that I don't have to feel like I'm pulling teeth to get people to play. And a big kind of conversation for a while has been people being oh, well, no one cares about the answer. No one cares about the answer. And it's obviously that's not true. Thousands of people have pre-ordered this expansion
I still
pass.
think the people before we knew the answer was coming as DLC, and people were I really wish the answer was in here. And there's a bunch of people who was no, good, screw the answer, it's bad. And it's as if they were going to include it,
mm-hmm.
They would have to make it bad again.
They're forced to. It's because it was bad the first time, that means they have to make it bad again. That I still think is it's either going to stay bad, or it has to stay bad, or it will it's going to stay bad, or it's going to be a bad remake. If you don't keep it bad, that means you're doing a bad job at remaking it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. For the answer, I want a bad remake.
I think they're gonna do it. Everyone I know who's played it has been yeah, it's really solid. But I mean, again, I think a lot of it too is the answer's problem was never the gameplay, outside of the kind of grindy nature of it. So I think a lot of that's gonna rely on how they do the story. But again, I think they've gotten so much better with their storytelling that I will be shocked if it's not significantly improved. But how realistic do you feel we get into a bad scenario and this game comes out Tuesday, it's out, people are playing it, people are talking about it, and it just kind of comes and goes like a fart in the wind? Because it's there's not really that there's not that big thing. It's just kind of it's a weird new first thing for us. Do we think enough of the fans are going to go there that it's going to feel like it makes a difference? Or is it going to feel like it's going to be a couple of hardcore people and Mac over here doing it for the content and then no one else?
I honestly, I do kind of think it'll be the diehard Persona fans will absolutely be talking about it and playing it. But it's the sort of thing where it's I feel like people will be oh, this is cool. And they'll talk about it for a little bit. And then people will just kind of move on. I feel especially with what's coming later this month, even though they're not RPGs. I mean, depending on who you ask, they're RPGs, but I don't consider them RPGs. Zelda. But there are some things coming that I think it's going to warrant more discussion in the wider zeitgeist. That I feel like people are going to talk about it for a little bit, and then it's just going to kind of fall off, and it will mostly just be the diehard fans.
But again, it's weird. How do you think? How can we measure that sort of success? Even with Yakuza and Persona 3, it was bam, both of these things sold over 1 million in less than a week. Blah blah blah. Do we expect a Atlus press release even a month after this game comes out? What do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think we'll get anything like. I don't think we'll get sold over 1 million copies or whatever for it. I feel like it'll just kind of be like, hey, hey, check it out or whatever. I don't think it will be as big of a deal or as big of a success or whatever as the base game was.
Now, here's the question for you, though. I'm trying to think which one I want to ask you first. How well do you want to predict that it will review?
Oh, I think it will review well. I think it'll be a lot of like 8s, 9s.
And then on top of that, do you expect it to be... Trying to think with it, just because, again, we're in weird fucking uncharted territory for Atlus. Could you see this being a one and done in the sense of, okay, this was kind of okay, a little too controversial with maybe how we rolled it out. We're never gonna do this.
The
again.
rollout's awful. I refuse any kind of nuance there. The rollout's been pretty awful.
I don't think the rollout is awful. I think the DLC's biggest complaint. I 100% get people this. Here's the long and short of it. People don't like that it's called an expansion pass because it makes them feel like they're forced to buy this with the 2 other pieces of DLC it comes with. But at the same time, if they just charged $35 for Episode Aigis, no one would bat an eye.
Exactly. No, yes. What it is the fact that it is framed as an expansion pass, and those first 2 waves are just not worth it.
But like
to consider. Those 2 waves are being put alongside it.
Considering what DLC Atlus launches their games with normally, that's so par for the course for them.
Oh, exactly.
So it's not like it's worse by association; it's equal by association. Like if anything, you know what this is? The expansion pass is this.
Ooh.
The expansion pass is 2 really mediocre hand jobs followed up by hopefully the sloppiest toppy thop 3000 Atlus has ever given us. That's like in their head. I almost bet you that's why they did it. That is like, because remember, this is the fucked up cynical part about knowing how games are made. We know that the Velvet Room costumes and the extra songs were all on the disc at launch. There was no reason to hold those back. Those all could have been DLC or included in the game at launch. It is 100%, yes, that is something that was taken out of the game and meant to add value to this. But then it just goes back to my question of why do they feel like, because again, allegedly this was not in the cards at launch. Not at launch, but not at reveal last year. At reveal last year, this was not in the cards of them developing it, and then they changed it at the last minute. So then my thing is like, why do they not have enough faith to just charge $35 for this epilogue instead of trying to act like the value is being built by costumes and music?
Well, I think it's because Sega is like, hey, we want to have this push for expansion passes. I think Sega pushed them.
Sega fucking sucks at like DLC support. Every Yakuza fan and their mother hates Yakuza DLC.
Yes, but Sega has this big push for it, and I think that's why they did this.
It's those super games fucking everyone over.
It is those super games, and I'm really upset that Jet Set Radio is going to be a fucking live service. At least we're getting a remake that seems to be normal.
Hopefully.
But Crazy
Taxi
Taxi is not the kind of game you'd want to do a live service for.
I'm already more worried about the cops. I don't like the cops being in Crazy Taxi. That already gives me the yuck.
Just their existence, or like anything specific?
That it changes the overall mechanics of how that game world existed. The whole point of it.
Okay,
was driving around the city like maniacs. It shouldn't be like, oh damn, the fucking cops are coming after us. It's like, no, dude, get me to the fucking Pizza Hut and hit that ramp.
Yeah, no, okay. I couldn't tell if you were talking about it from like a mechanical thing or if you were just being all ACAB. I couldn't tell what you were doing. I couldn't tell what angle you were coming from.
I really, man, I can't wait to hear fucking Eddie from Crazy Taxi have an ACAB shirt as
A cab.
Oh my god. You know that's gonna happen.
Oh my god. Oh dude, this game's gonna be a cab as fuck because you're a taxi driver. A cab.
Jesus Christ, Mac. But like, genuinely though, I will say I'm shocked at where you're at right now. You would still kind of wait just because of like how much I know you enjoyed base Reload.
Oh yeah. No, it is purely just. Well, I'm okay. It's also because I'm doing other things. I'm playing Cyberpunk. I'm playing Cyberpunk. I'm playing Astrobot. I'm working. I'm doing some stuff. It's just also a matter of time. And I was trying to not mention that stuff because I got the feeling if I said that, you'd be like, well, if you didn't have that stuff.
No,
so I was
listen, I'm over here fucking huffing paint and playing Vampire Survivors for the 900th time. I'm not going to compare my habits to anyone. No, because yeah. I genuinely agree with you of like, I think it's up to the game to show that it's worth your time and your money at launch. So I 110% get that. At the same time, it's that thing of like you know what, a great example of a game that I know I will enjoy but has not done a good job of showing its value is worth buying at launch. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. I know I will enjoy that game if I pick that up. There is no reason that I have to buy that now.
No, that is like there's so many like little scares and like, oh, I feel like you just don't know how, like all these little moments of like little scares of like, oh my god, you took all the stuff out, and then it's like, oh no, it's actually just in the original mode. This is like a new mode for some reason. And it's all these little things. It's just like, I feel like you're just not doing a good job marketing this to fans. And let's be real,
Lollipop Chainsaw Repop's entire marketing budget is that one dude's Twitter. That's all it is. It's just that dude on Twitter putting out stuff every couple of weeks.
No, they're really just not doing a good job at hyping this up. And there's just all these little moments where it's like, this would actively deter fans. And then it's like, oh, it's not what it seems. And then it's like, okay, well, then why didn't you have better control of this narrative? Because that's the whole deal with marketing, is you're trying to control and create a narrative, and you are failing at doing that. You are not doing a good job at creating this narrative.
So let's kind of wrap up the conversation with this then. Let's put on, we just got hired in August. It is our jobs. We can't go back and change anything at Atlus. The expansion pass rollout, the naming, the price, everything. We can only try to market the game and get more people excited to pick it up at launch or pre-order it for $35. How do you try and change that narrative then? I'll tell you.
If I can't change anything, I don't think there's anything I could really come up with.
You can announce. Let's say there's stuff in the game, like Joker is a good example. Like I'll give you an example with another game's example that I think actually handled it better. Maybe 5 people, and I don't mean 5%. I genuinely mean 5 people. Maybe 5 people are now going to buy this DLC because Joker's in the game. That DLC does nothing to sell the game.
No, seriously. If anything, it just annoyed people. It annoyed most people.
Here's a great example, though.
Not me.
How many people? How many people do you think are now picking up Rayantis this month because Neo: The World Ends With You is in it?
That is such a weird case, because it's like, I feel it's the sort of thing where it's like, everything I understand about that game and that fucking crossover and how heavy they're marketing with it, it's like, it makes me feel as though this game only existed because the director was like, I really like Neo: The World Ends With You. Like, that's what it feels like.
I can see where that comes from, but I mean, like, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Of course.
I think the director and Nomura were like waiting in line at Panera, and Nomura left his wallet, and he was like, "Oh, dude, don't worry, I'll cover this one for you." And he's like, "Oh, sweet. Do you want the entire IP rights to the Neo: The World's Ends with You? Fuck yeah, let's throw it in. Why not?" So it's a different thing, but like, do you see what I mean though? Of like, you need something that's gonna make people be like, "Whoa!" Because like my first initial reaction when the Joker stuff got announced was like, okay, well, let's assume there's more optional fights added in here. There are at least 2 that I think would get a positive response out of people in a mild to much larger way to get them excited for this. Number 1, throw in a Labras fight. That would be cool. Never seen it before. HD Labras, turn-based fight, really, really fun. Thematically still makes sense. And then the easy answer that, like, I still think if they can find a way to sneak this in, God, it will be so clutch for them. But I don't think it's going to happen. If there is a secret fight where you get to fight the what if female protagonist, would be 10 out of 10. That's something that if you see that shit popping up on Twitter, that's selling copies of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel as though that, so the thing is, and I even said this in my video, where it's like, if there was more than just Joker, I feel like they should have also announced it alongside Joker.
But Atlus is weird.
And then Femc, that, or have some kind of rollout. So let's say that there is a fight with you in there. If it either announce him alongside Joker, or have one trailer where, you know, you reveal Joker, and then another one like a week or 2 weeks later where you reveal you, and then the day of reveal or reveal you alongside Joker. Regardless, the day of, and like whatever the launch trailer you have, then you tease that Femc fights in the game.
Yeah, and the way they've been handling it even since the Joker announcement has been very interesting. Of like, okay, here's costumes for Metis. Okay, that's cool, but like, I don't really need to play as Metis with Kasumi. Other ones of like leaning really hard into the new songs. The new songs are cool, but not necessarily something that you can kind of equate to like leading into a sale. I would say like the best thing we've really had has been like them showing the opening and some of the interviews they've done, but those are like such things that are for the fans who are already there. It's hard to act like that's converting anyone new with it, whereas like it's so funny because like by comparison, Persona 3 Reload was such a slam dunk of attracting new fans, whereas it feels like they are in such an uphill battle.
It really feels like this DLC is only really gonna appeal to the diehards, and then like a couple of casual fans who might have got in with this one. I feel like it's just mostly, you're really only gonna be able to sell it to like pre-existing people who already know.
I hope that's not true. I know you're probably right, but like there's just like, and it's just because I want this to be good. Not even almost, I mean, yeah, I bought this with my own hard-earned money, but like I pre-ordered this all the way back in March because I wanted to kind of like follow through this of like, hey, I want to check out the new music, I want to look at the other stuff that's coming, and I want to be able to try and view this kind of through that critical lens. But also it's like, hey, I would like this to just be a thing that can kind of be better and more than it is, but it is just so weird of, I think especially with the way the internet is, it's so easy for the kind of like negative one to go there for it, that it's so often that we have to kind of remember people's like, yo, there's like thousands of people who are probably going to pick this up and never once tweet about really enjoying it. Which is that thing. And I mean, like, again, kind of going back to look at like YouTube videos that like people are putting out there or like tweeting, they're like, oh my god, dude, no one's excited about like the answer, or like like, and just things that, like, listen, if you're legitimately not excited about the answer, that's fine. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're wrong, or like, oh, like, you need to prove it to me. But like, there are things where, like, it's almost hard for me to not think people are like rage baiting. Like, and I know you haven't seen it, Mac, but like, literally seeing tweets out there that people, like, if you looked at that opening for the answer and were like, this might be the worst opening I've ever seen Atlus.
I did see that debate, and that's actually part of the reason. That's also like part of what inspired me to like, I'm gonna wait till the full release is out, because it's like, oh, this is apparently awful, and then other people are like, this is amazing. You people are stupid. Has me like, you know what? I want that suspense.
I physically don't believe you if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm a longtime fan of the series, but this is the worst opening and song ever. Like,
if I can't dance to it, it's garbage. That's all Persona is good for.
It's just so funny. But it, like, again, it just goes to that thing of like, some people out there, it just feels like they're like, my reason for being on the internet is how fast can I put a negative opinion about something out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, listen,
there's always a part of me, real quick, there's always a part of me that gets like, whenever I'm being negative about something, there's always a part of me that's like, I really hope that's not how I sound, because I don't like being cynical. I'm just like, I guess, cautious, and I'm always a little scared of like, oh, I really hope I don't come off like one of those assholes.
No, and I mean, I as someone who talks with you about things like this with it, I think you always do a really good job of always kind of explaining where you're coming from without being very put offish. Because it's that thing of being like, if you put a tweet out there that says, oh, I didn't really like the new opening, or I also didn't really like this, and then have a thing to say that kind of follows up with it, I won't have any other follow-up questions. But yeah, when you just kind of come out with something being like, this is so bad, and have no other follow-up discourse with it, it's like, okay, well, why do I want to talk to you about that?
Mm-hmm. No, you want to know a hot take I have that I do want to do a video on eventually. I think the new anime cutscenes in P3 Reload, almost across the board, all worse.
Considering the game likes to give up after like the first 4-hour mark with them, you're probably not wrong.
It's specifically, and I'm not coming from an animation standpoint, I'm coming from a directorial standpoint, because that's one of the things about P3 in all of my many attempts of trying to play the original that I like adored every time. I adore the direction on those cutscenes and how artistic and like experimental they are. It's so cool. And then Reload's animated scenes are just so boring and sanitized in comparison. The worst offender to me is the opening cutscene. It's I hate the new one.
That's wild.
And correction.
That's wild.
Clarification, not correction. Clarification. I am not talking about the opening music video. I am talking about I hit new game.
Okay.
New game.
You are fucking high. I was gonna be like, you are high. Okay, I understand. That's fine. I understand that completely.
New game, and I'm watching the story start. I don't mean what happens when I boot up the game.
That's so funny. I was like, bro, you are fucking smoking crack if you don't think that opening.
I've said this a few times, and people have made that exact. People, I really need to be more clearer about what I mean when I say that, because this exact confusion has happened multiple times in the past.
It's okay. Like, I know what you mean, but like, I definitely get it in the sense of like, especially with the cutscenes of like, I often always think of, what was it? I often think of the first scene of them going to Tartarus with their new costumes and the like walking animation stuff. I also think of that one of like being like, whew, some of these frames are pretty rough looking.
Yeah, but and it's all in slow-mo, so it holds on them.
It's just like the weird thing with it. The fact that I know it's Studio Wit makes me almost believe it less. It's like, how is this the same people who fucking did AOT and Spy Family?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because like back in the day, like when we had Studio 4C, like even when they like weren't doing like the best like stuff they were cranking out. Like Persona 4 was like Thundercats era Studio 4C, and I love Thundercats. But like it's that thing of like there were different levels of quality you were going to get with them, and Persona 4 is even in that similar camp with it. But like, yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think they're all bad, but yeah, the level
there are some good ones in there. I just feel like for the most part,
they stick out.
Almost...
They stick out like a sore thumb, even if you haven't seen the original. And if you have, it's like, okay, what game
you
were you?
lose so much of the personality of those originals.
Yes, one.
And it's like, yes, that from a technical perspective, these do look nicer. They're more on model. They're more consistent, but they're also a lot more boring.
I will say, as minor highlights outside of the opening movie, I think the flashback with Aigis on the bridge and the ending cutscenes are probably some of my favorite. I think those were handled really, really well.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, if it's in engine, I actually do quite like it.
Oh, and I mean just the animated ones.
Mm-hmm. Just the 2D.
Yeah, so like just talking about the Studio Wit stuff, but again, even kind of by comparison, I actually would be curious. So Reload has 25 minutes of animated cutscenes, but if you take out the opening movie, that's like barely over 20. So let's see, Persona 3, yeah, even by comparison, there's 30 minutes of animated cutscenes in the original. So again,
there's literally just less.
Yeah, there's less overall. It's probably something that doesn't have as much time and money put into it, because again, Persona 5 has a similar problem of, okay, we're known for doing these animated cutscenes, we have to do these, but with the way animation works, it is so hard to have all these things locked in that if you want it to look good, you have to
do it. You have to lock in exactly what's going to happen and what's going to happen in the story years before the final product.
Yeah.
There is no leeway. There's no variation. Whereas with P3s, the original P3s, those are like, okay, these look like they could have been a lot quicker of a turnaround compared to what you had with P5.
Yeah. I would say that's definitely a good comparison, like for a video idea of like kind of putting it out there with it, because I think it's very easy to be like animation bad or animation cheap. Like I think like it's the difference kind of between when you're talking about animation, like with something like Dragon Ball. Like a really good conversation that doesn't ever come up very much, but I think is always so interesting, is like when people who shit on Dragon Ball GT and Super, you kind of get down to the like, okay, well, like, what is it missing from that original Dragon Ball? And a large part of it at the end of the day often comes down to like time, money, animation studios, and things like that with it. So that's one of those funny ones of just being like, okay, why is it like this? Especially just because with 2D animation more than anything, it's just such a clusterfuck most of the time of like planning it, making sure nothing changes, and all the other kind of steps along the way with it, that like it's basically how few things can we fuck up along the way, as opposed to how great can we make this look. But no, I think that's a good point. I'll also say this: probably zero other animated cutscenes in the answer. I don't know, like maybe I'll be wrong, but like I wouldn't be shocked if it's just the opening cutscene.
I'll say there'll be one, and it will be the end.
Oh, you know what? You haven't played the answer though, so I can't ask you. There's one specific scene, like one very, very specific spoilery scene, that it was an animated cutscene in the original. I will be very curious how they handle in the answer, because it's like one of the most iconic shots of the whole story. But I'll be really interested with it. But I think that's kind of it for the most part. I'm really excited to sort of see what we do when we get there. At this point now, Jesus, Atlus, you better fucking give a code to Mac, or else I'm gonna be talking about this with myself apparently. You know
what? I have one last thing I actually do want to say.
Lay it on me.
About the answer, about the DLC episode Aigis and all this. It's another thing about Joker. being in it that's really stupid and further shows why this is just like a dumb idea. Joker's not this old in 2009. He should be in middle school.
I hate this.
This doesn't make any sense.
I fucking hate
this. This is so dumb. This is so stupid. You should be beating up a child. And you know what? In P5 Royal, Joker should have been fighting a spoiler alert.
Do you know how many awful sound clips I have for you right now?
I am not saying the spoiler because I'm being courteous, but Joker should have been fighting a spoiler.
Awful.
Because I care about canon, god dang it.
Someone has to care about the timeline. Did you see the breaking news about the Zelda timeline?
Yeah, they so don't care.
Nintendo gave so few fucks. They didn't even make a third timeline. They just said, yeah, it's in its own thing.
Oh my god, they don't. They so regret the timeline.
At this point, they might as well have just fucking chucked Hyrule Warriors in there.
They may as well have just retconned the timeline, period, and made it so that it didn't exist in the first place. Like, I would genuinely, especially after Tears of the Kingdom couldn't decide whether or not it wanted to be whether or not it was a sequel or not. I would rather there not be a timeline at this point.
Never forget, Mac. Age of Calamity. Still real to me, damn it.
Oh my god, that game.
It was a
fun
story.
Game.
It was a story.
It's a story. Fun game. Wish it ran better.
Switch 2, baby.
Let's go.
Age of Calamity
supposedly in a month, but supposedly
no way.
Next month and the month after, and the month after, and the month after. And hey, make sure listen to every leaker. They are always right.
Especially Mac. He always knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna leak something. I've been lying this whole time. I've actually been playing Episode Aigis literally since March. I have been playing it. I know what happens. Let's just say fans of Final Fantasy VII Remake are going to have a great time. That can mean a number of different things.
Jesus Christ. Mac, where can people find you online?
You can find me at JBO Macca you can find me at JBO Macca on like everything except YouTube, and then on YouTube you can find me at Macca.
Well, let me guess. Probably the SMT5 video is your next up.
Honestly, actually, probably next up's gonna be an episode Aigis impressions.
You fucker.
I know it's just a quick turnaround content thing, but also like content. No, it's a matter of just it's a number of things, but it's an impressions. It'll be fun. It'll be a quick, easy thing, but also it helps kind of pad for time while I work on the SMT5 because that is actually what I'm doing. I swear to God. Like I said, the script is done. I just need to go in and record it and then edit it. And then I have some stuff planned for November that I am very excited for, but I gotta work on it in the background.
Spooktacular.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is after we hit end.
Well, before we hit end, everyone, thank you so much for watching, listening. If you want to enjoy the show and continue supporting me in my very boring, jobless, homeless man arc, you can support the show a number of ways. The best way is just by sharing online. If you listen to us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever, if you haven't, or if you are wanting to just make a couple of burner accounts, a review really, really does help. That stuff does help podcasts in terms of growing considerably. If you have friends who are somehow masochistically possibly might want to listen to this, you can always share it to them. But if you want to support the show directly, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN. We've got a early link at shows for $1 and up patrons, as well as exclusive giveaways. The next one is most likely going to be Persona 3 Reload related, but that'll be going up probably in about a day or two. And for the $5 and up Patreon supporters, you guys get the illustrious executive producer tier. And big shout out to John Massey, Crazy Sloth, Michael Wilson, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Renren, Wenny, Jagingus, Gorosero, Solaire, Stephen Yip, and Patrick Dissert. Thank you all so much for keeping the show / my electricity bill on in the meantime. But Mac, got to get you back to work. Got to get you back. I think, you're about to start a shift in like 13 minutes, probably, getting the midnight oil burning.
So something like that. Oh my God, it's about 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm actually going to bed.
This went way fucking longer than I thought. I blame the Funko discussion. That's all I'm saying.
That ruined everything. It just like everything. Just like with everything, Funkos ruin everything.
Oh no. Well, what do you? Well, now you got to return your Chainsaw Man Funko Pops.
Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man. Just cut it.
No, that was the outro. For the blooper, I'm going to tell everybody, because I forgot to say this while you're mentioning it, but your reminder of Chainsaw Man singing, I'm going to predict it that the answer, even if it's not immediately this way, it will lead to discourse. It will be the Chainsaw Man Part 2 of Atlus discourse.
Probably where people will like it'll probably be like making some kind of point or whatever, and then people will get really pissy because they don't like that it's not doing what they want.
The lovers will love it, and the haters will hate it.
Mm-hmm.